Hey guys, I am at my workshop today, so I'm expecting you to do good work for me. These are your notes that you would have gotten yesterday. This is today rather. This is a continuation of what we worked on yesterday. So please glue these on page 9 in your notebook, and then follow as I go along. The substitute will give you each a copy of these. So complementary, supplementary, and vertical angles. So yesterday, I need you to fill this in. Two angles that sum together to equal 90 are called complementary angles. When we put these angles together, they form a right angle. So right here in this space, I need for you please to draw a right angle. And once you've drawn your right angle, so in this space right here, once you've drawn your right angle, I need you to draw a ray coming up through that angle. And on that ray, it will go through that right angle. So you're going to make a pair of complementary angles. So it's going to look something like this. So you're going to draw your angle. And remember, we're going to go nice and straight. So you're going to use your ruler. I'm using my tool. So I've got it that way. And I've got it this way. Onto this angle, I'm going to put my points. So I'm going to put a point right here. Remember, we label our points with capital letters. So I'm going to call that point A. Then I'm going to draw a point right here. And I'm going to call that point B. And then I'm going to draw a point right here. And I'm going to call that point C. And then this line that goes up through the center, I'm going to draw that right there. That's my ray. And I'm going to call that point on that ray point D. So make sure you've labeled all of that. Got that all done. And now we're going to write off here to the side the names of these angles. So I'm going to have angle A, B, D plus angle D, B, C, and together they're going to equal 90 degrees. Okay, so that's what you're going to do for each of these. I just did this one for you so you would understand. All right, so next one, two angles that sum to 180 are called supplementary. When we put these together, they form a straight line or a straight angle. Once again, you're going to draw them. Make sure you're labeling with the different vertices, and then at the bottom, I need you to write the names of the two angles that sum together, and then in this case, it is going to be to 180. All right, and then the final one is this one. Two angles that share a vertex and are opposite each other are called vertical angles. These angles are congruent. And if you'll recall from yesterday, this looked kind of like an X when we sketched it. And so you're just going to draw two straight lines that cross one another, put points on them to label the lines, and then remember that if we're looking at these vertical angles, this angle that goes here and this angle here, they're going to be congruent to one another. And this angle here and this angle here, they are going to be congruent to each other. And these two angles right here are supplementary angles. They supplement one another. And then these two angles here also supplement each other. Okay, next page. So using the picture at the left, name a pair of vertical angles, name a pair of supplementary angles, name a pair of complementary angles. So you're going to fill all that in on your worksheet. Then it says example 2 on the right, using the picture at the right, name a pair of vertical angles, name a pair of supplementary angles, name a pair of complementary angles. So you're going to do that as well. Okay. All right, and then I need for you please to look at this picture and talk with the people, or just draw this picture and talk with your So draw this picture in your notebook, and when you're looking at it, I need for you please to go through and figure out the different measures of the different angles. And so when I look at this, I see right here this little block. So make sure that you put a 90 where that little block is, and then work on through. Remember that angles together that make 180 make a line. So the place where I would begin if I were you to figure this out would be to put this 90 in here and then maybe find this angle, or use this 40 here to find the angle called F. And then answer these two questions in your notebook. All right, so the second worksheet that you have is this one. And it says, if you know the relationship between the two angles, we can set up an equation to solve those angles. So we're going to write the word equation right here. Let's see if I can erase that. Okay. So let's look at this angle right here. Angle number 1, I know adds up to be 90 degrees. And I know that angle number 1 is 90 degrees because, once again, it has this little right angle marker in the corner. So when I look at this, I can write an equation. And you're going to do this in your notebook on your worksheet. 3x plus 45 equals 90. And once again, I know that this is 90 because of this block. And right here, you're going to have written the word equation. Okay, so when I look at that, I can now solve this because this is just an easy two-step equation, and you guys are good at that. So I am going to look at this, and I'm going to say, oh, I want to get that 90, that 45 out of there. So I'm going to put minus 45 right here, and then on the other side, minus 45. And so once I do that subtraction, I see that 3x, which is what I'm left with here on the left, is going to be equal to 45. And then x, and I divide both sides by 3, so I divide by 3 here. And then I would divide by 3 here. And once I've done that, I see that x is equal to 15. So I'm going to have you fill in a couple different things. So on your worksheet, there are a couple different things. I would like to know for this answer what x is, and then, of course, the missing angle, which was what is 3x. So right here, you're going to say 3x equals 45. So that's the first one. All right, let's look at the second one. Also, these are complementary angles. And once again, I know this because of this block here in the corner. So I'm going to set up my equation, and you are going to write, please, x minus 20 plus x. And that together equals 90. So I just take the value of this angle, which is x minus 20, and the value of this angle, which is x. Together, they would equal 90, so I do that. So the first thing I'm going to do is look for subtraction. If subtraction you see, add the opposite. So I'm going to add the opposite right here. So add the opposite. And then I'm going to combine my like terms. And when I look at this problem, I see that I have two x's. So this expression or equation is going to be 2x plus negative 20. And then that equals 90. Well, I need to get rid of that negative 20. So I'm going to add 20 to both sides. So add 20 here. If I add 20 to this side, I need to add 20 to this side. So plus 20. And then when I simplify this, I see that I have 2x equals 7 or 110 because I was adding the 20. Then I divide both sides by 2. And I have to divide the other side by 2 because I want to know what a single x is. And then x, of course, is 55. So I would put the 55 right here. Now I have two options. I can either do 55 minus 20 and get 35, or I can just do 90 minus 55 and also get 35. And I can do that because those are complementary angles. So make sure you write down the answers for that one. Okay, there's the rotten milk worksheet, so we don't need that. Okay, so let's look at example number 3, please. Here it says I have 3x plus 25 plus 2 more x's, and this one equals 180. So for this one, I'm going to rewrite this equation, all written out, 3x plus 25 plus 2x equals 180. And the reason I put the 180 is because this is a straight line, and I know that's what I'm going to be putting these angles equal to. So now I combine my like terms, so I have 5x plus 25, and that equals 180. Subtract 25 from both sides. Oops. So 5x's are equal to, hang on, I gotta get where I am. Okay, so 5x equals 155. I don't want 155. I want just 1x, so I'm going to divide by 5, and of course divide by 5. And when I do that, I see, whoops, when I do that, I see that x is equal to 31. Then I take that 31 and I put it up in this expression. So 2x would mean 2 times 31. So 2 times 31, that of course means that this angle equals 62. And now I have 2 options. I can either do 3 times 31 and then add the 25 to that, or I could take 62 from 180 and you'll get the same answer. So 93 plus 5 is 98. 108, 118. So this angle here equals 118. So you try number 4. Number 5. So if we look at number 5, I know that these 2 angles are vertical angles, and vertical angles are congruent. So I am going to put these angles, and they call it set these angles. I'm going to set these angles equal to each other. So I'm going to say that 75 is equal to 4x minus 25. And then I just solve it like I would any 2-step equation. I'm going to add 25 here and add 25 on the other side. So add 25, add 25. So 100 is equal to 4x. Whoops, sorry. 4x, and then divide by 4. So 25 equals x. And you already know the measure of this angle because it's 4x minus 25. So here we're just solving for x. Okay, try number 6. These 2 angles are complementary because they have a right angle marker in them. And here's number 7. These angles are supplementary to one another. Here we have a right angle, so pay attention to that. And that's it. All right, so we are going, that's all you need to do on that. Once you're done filling in these notes and answering all the questions on this, you're going to go ahead and start your patio task. That is your homework. It is due tomorrow. Thank you so much. You have a wonderful evening, or a wonderful day, rather, and be good, and I will see you tomorrow.